Hey there YouTube, this is Krim the Godspeed Edge from TeamRokuyukai, and I'm bringing you my updated scrap deck for the March 2012 format. I can finally play this deck again because Tengu is at 2. I quit this deck pretty much because I really didn't want to play with Tengu. I never really enjoyed it. And I really do love scraps, and I wanted to see if I could make it work for this format. So here are my choices right now for playing the scrap deck. You still have your 3 Chimera, and Chimera is basically, you know, he pulls Beast out of the graveyard. If you don't play through Chimera, then, you know, what's the point of playing this deck? You might as well play something else. One thing to note is the deck kind of it's really moved away from general scraps. It's more like Scrap Dragon deck, and that's what most scrap decks have been doing. I've kind of moved away from focusing on just the straight up scraps and mostly making Scrap Dragon and making combo plays. You have the 3 Beast like you normally would. I mean, it's just the best tuner, probably best level 4 tuner ever. Especially with the combos you can do with Scrap Storm and Searchable by Scrapyard, so it works really well. And then right now I'm playing 1 Goblin. Goblin is just a useful 3-star. He allows you to make random plays, allows you to bring back from the graveyard if Scrap Dragon's destroyed. And, I mean, he's an easy target to side out, and that's actually mostly what I use him for. Next you have the engines. That's it for Scrap Engine. Next you have the rest of the engine, which you do 3 Spy, and then 1 Descendant. The Gravekeeper engine is really, really good. I love this engine because a lot of people really won't expect it, and if they already do expect it, whenever you play a face-down monster, you're always going to expect the 2,000 defense points on Spy. And so it just lets you make really quick combos to destroy cards and get level 4 monsters out. Next, you have 2 Thunder King. Thunder King overall is just a good card. There's not much else you can say about it. This deck runs Call the Haunted, and so you can do a lot of weird stuff by Call of the Haunted Thunder King during one of your opponent's important plays, and oh, now they can't play their duality. Their duality doesn't work anymore. Oh, now they can't synchro. Oh, they can't exceed anymore. And so it's just fun to stun them and kind of mess with their heads. Bless you. We have 1 Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon's just useful to go into Scrap Twin. He's a big beater, so he gets over a lot of the cards that people are maining, like Cyber Dragon and stuff. And if you do special summon him, a lot of times they're just going to negate it with Thunder King's effect. So he's kind of like, oh, okay. So you're just going to go 1 for 1. That's fine. Now I can normal summon. Gorz is just useful in any deck. I don't see why you would never play Gorz. He is awesome, and he really saves your butt a lot of times. One of my new cards in here is Zephyeros the Elite. Basically, this deck is playing a lot of continuous trap cards, and so he's very live to bring back. He's also live if you want to bring Gorz back to your hand and troll your opponent. There's a lot of fun things you can do with them, but it's just a way to get another level 4 monster out very quickly so you can get into Scrap Dragon faster. And with running things like Zephyeros and the Descendant and stuff like that, you tend to have fairly dead cards in your hand. Well, what I found works is Goblindberg. Goblindberg, if you didn't know what he does, you normal summon him, change him to defense mode, and his effect activates automatically to where you would bring out a level 4 or lower monster from your hand. So if your card you don't really want to use, like a dead Descendant, even sometimes a dead Spy, the Zephyeros, you can go into a 4 exceed very easily. You can also make a quick Scrap Dragon with the Beast in your hand. And so the 1 Goblindberg actually is very, very nice. I play 2 Effect Veiler for the same, just anti-meta. It also works well with the Goblindberg. It lets you to make a quick 5. And so I very much have enjoyed that, and I side the 3rd one. And tech that Rai-Oh told me to use was BLS. Since I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights plus Utopia, it's very easy to make the lights, and I run Dark Engine with the Gravekeepers, the Zephyeros, and the Gorz. So BLS tends to actually not be as dead as I thought it originally would be in this deck. So really useful combo maker. On for the spells, we have 2 Yard. True Scrapyard. I was at 3, and as you noticed from my old deck profile, if you've seen that, I'm not playing Summoner Monk anymore. I'm trying to move out of that and trying to make the deck a little bit faster in its own way. And so I took out one of the Scrapyards in the Summoner Monk, and I'm using just the 2 Scrapyards here to get into Beast faster. And now I'm playing 2 Scrapstorm. Yes, I should be ashamed of myself. I'm playing 2 Scrapstorm in a Scrap deck. But I've honestly felt that you don't need it as much in this format. You really... There's other ways for you to win and other ways to make your plays than having a dead Scrapstorm all the time. And I actually even side one of these out sometimes, which is also sad. But the main thing you have to focus on is being able to make the Scrap Dragon. And you have enough ways to do that without focusing on the Scrapyard. Main cards like Reborn, Darkle, Heavy, the MSTs, and Mind Control, which is awesome. I am going to add Foolish Burial back into this deck, most likely, but I need to find the spot for it first. For traps, we have Solemn, Brigade, as always. If you have them, why would you not play them? We have 2 Tories. Tori is just a game change card, so I love that card. 3 Fiendish Chains. Chain is very important in this deck because, let's say your opponent summons Dragonfly. You chain Fiendish Chain to it. If they don't have MST, well, guess what? They're screwed. So Fiendish Chain sitting on a monster you don't like, well, you summon Scrap Dragon, pop that, pop the monster. It's basically 1 for 1. And it's useful by itself, just as is. You have the 2 Call the Haunted, which allow you to bring back any of the monsters you really need to combo with, to make like Scrap Dragon or make something else.
Or to troll your opponent.
Pretty much like with Thunder King. And then 2 Safe Zone. And Safe Zone's been very iffy for me. I've kind of liked it and I've kind of not. It works against your opponent and it works for you. That you can Safe Zone your opponent's face-up attack position monster. If you have Scrap Dragon out, you blow this up, blow up another card on their field, and guess what? Now their monster's blown up because of the effect here. It gets kind of iffy on how useful it really is, but I still like it at 2, and if you have a matchup where it's not really good, you just side it out. But against Insectors, if they know you're playing it and you have it face down, they don't want to summon until this card's gone. And so you waste cards on it.
And they can't get rid of it until they
MST it or something. So it's useful. Extra deck, you play 3 Scrap Dragon. Yes, you know, it's a Scrap Dragon deck. You have to play 3 Scrap Dragon. If you have 2, that's cool, but you need 3. You play the 1 Scrap Twin. Scrap Twin is my favorite of the Scraps, and I love him. And I put Cyber Dragon in there just so I have the ability to make him. Because I'm not running Searcher anymore. But he's still good to play at 1, depending on the situation that happens. You never know what's going to happen. 2, Utopia. They're light targets. They're pretty big, beefy beaters. They stop your opponent from attacking. You can make it fairly fast because, you know, you go Spy into Spy, Exceed, Utopia. So it's just good. 1 Steelswarn Roach. Not seeing a lot of play, but it's also a dark target and very easy to make. And so, you know, he comes in useful depending on the decks you're playing. Then you play basic cards like Catastor, because you can make it with Goblindberg and Veiler. Brio, you have pretty much no way to make it in this deck, but if the situation comes up and you grab a monster from your opponent with Mind Control, you need a 6 target. The 7s that I'm playing are Black Rose, Scrap Archfiend, and Arcanite. Scrap Archfiend, if you're playing a Goblin in your deck, you need to have it. There's no choice in that. Black Rose, everybody knows what Black Rose does. Just blow shit up. And Arcanite, since you run 4 spellcasters in this deck, it's very easy to make the 7 with Goblin in this. And it just kind of makes a trolling move to where you can pop 2 cards on your opponent's side. He's also a light target, so, you know, we're working with the BLS stuff here still. The only other 2 8s I play are Colossal Fighter and Stardust. I'm still iffy about Stardust. It's an okay card. But this format... But they come in handy when they come in handy. And last, you have Chimeratech. If you're maining a Cyber Dragon, you need to main Chimeratech if possible. That's pretty much my build for my scraps. I went technically 4-1 and lost to Dark Worlds at my locals. I beat 2 Insectors and a couple other decks that I can't remember. I won a Gravekeeper match too. The deck still works. It's not meta, but the deck will still continue to work and still be good. And I'm going to continue working on it and make it work for the format because Scraps are awesome. Anyways, this is Crim the God's Speed Edge from Team Rokuyukai, and I'm signing off.